very, uh, very solid draft strategy coming out from Texas Tech here, but you can't completely wall this guy out. I think Weston will be pretty chill regardless.
Yeah, and are we thinking Weston on the Estelle goalie and going into Gates and Obscura?
That's definitely,
Amy could also
yeah.
Amy could also work with the EE dash in. Weston probably wants to get back into those eject button plays after Sheb, and Amy's a perfect one to do it.
Well, it looks like it is indeed the Estelle that you first predicted. I do like this pick. I think if you're confident that your team can have the core control, this Estelle just boosts that so much more. And a lot of extra special across the board here. The only explosive entrancer is Nitro. A very, fast KO coming out from Robert Barron, though, and an immediate power play for CU Boulder Strikers. And the passing plays, as you can see, are just so on point. Their possession is so on point. Good strikes coming out from Firebird, and a good strike shot as well, but it's still a very difficult spot to be in.
Yeah, and even Texas Tech University able to get that power play right at the gate. Nitro finding the first barrier and actually lining up their strikes defensively with Firebird very well to save that top barrier, but eventually Texas Tech is going to start getting the core moving in their direction and get both barriers and keep that possession, like you were saying, just solid passing plays, and they get the first point on the board.
Yeah, and this is an example of standings being a little bit deceiving, right? Both these teams are 2-2, but CU Boulder, they have had an incredibly tough schedule. They have had to face the favorites of the entire league in NJIT relatively early. So their strength of schedule has been incredibly high. On the other hand, Texas Tech have not faced such a large challenge. CU Boulder might be the best team they're facing so far in the season, and we can see why. The coordination is totally on point. The pass through the portal as well. Saber gets it out of there for the moment. But Weston playing so calm and collected. AG has the flip available. That's a KO found by Nitro, though, but the barriers are still standing here. And the big finish will send it backwards. Really tough spot for CU Boulder, but they're stalling out the power play perfectly.
Yeah, and good job on them finding those KOs, kind of giving CU Boulder a taste of their own medicine from that first point there. And even though the two barriers go down quick on the side of Texas Tech, Firebird locking it down, but now with CU Boulder with the power play, able to send it over and able to get around that Atlas Expanse.
Yeah, and we're kind of seeing the power of the goalie here. Weston maintaining that flip. Firebird, the movement not as decisive. Had to burn the flip in a situation where Weston would not have had to. Oh, but that's a huge KO by Saber. That's the Finny getting some value here, and Weston getting mixed up a little bit. And that's a big opportunity for TTU to play in this power play, especially as Saber stays alive. But Robert Barron and Weston put them on the defense, and very, quickly, the power play turns into a deficit.
Yeah, and TTU Firebird kind of prioritizing keeping Saber alive using that Atlas Soul, and CU Boulder taking advantage to get that barrier down. And now it's kind of a fight, but Weston almost catches it, but the second barrier does go down. Now it's a full open field, and it's now just which team can get possession and get that forward progression going first. And it looks like Texas Tech might be able to make something happen here.
It looks like it, but Weston has the strikes around everyone and went right to Saber. It was a little bit scary, but Weston still managing to make the save. An early strike shot burn, a sword angle. Calm and collected is Weston still, and a flip available on Robert Barron. Waits out the primary, but not the expanse. Good defense by Firebird so far, but a good strike shot by Weston makes it difficult. Robert Barron now incredibly low on death's door, almost taken out, and a flip by Saber available. AG will just fend it away, and the Crystal Thorns to send it forward. Firebird finds a strike shot. But Texas Tech, they need to get a passing play going because Weston's not going to get scored on that easily.
Yeah, and especially on the Estelle with all these projectiles, strike shot, and just how confident Weston is being with their strikes, just knowing only to use their abilities when they have to get that pressure out. But Weston just ever calm, never panicking, even with this full open field and all that pressure that Texas Tech was able to put forward, never blinking.
Yeah, it's so difficult. Now Robert Barron in a great spot. Good strike shot. by Firebird, but the clear, oh, we don't want that kind of angle. Hits the wall instead of the corner, and Robert Barron will say thank you. It's a 3-0 set win for Colorado here, and Robert Barron, a very well-deserved first pick as we head into the draft. So much speed on the table. Catalyst as well could be huge. And the issue here is there's not anything that's super game-changing for the side of Texas Tech.
Yeah, and especially Asher, one of her biggest weaknesses is the speed, but Robert Barron taking up those stacks on stacks. She's going to be flying all over the place once she starts getting those build, and I think a lot of that kind of possession and offensive pressure that Texas Tech has had, they're going to struggle if they allow CU Boulder to keep scaling like this.
Yeah, and CU Boulder is playing so confidently as well. AG dribbling on the top side, even getting the cyber swipe in. Maybe a little bit too confident there, as Nitro will have no problem dealing with that. A lot of damage being poured in. Keep in mind, it's a siphoning one, Kazan, but Kazan is a shell of his very, very past damaging self here. I don't think that character alone is going to be finding the KOs. We're seeing a lot of chip damage, though. AG and Weston, you got to start evading some of these projectiles because Saber is hitting them. And now Weston in danger here from Nitro, who is constantly putting on the chip damage, constantly getting the orbs. But Weston will get the midfield orb, and the CU offense will continue.
Yeah, and you were saying, yeah, Kazan kind of a shell of his former damaged self, but when you have a Finny with those debuffs, those cards, being able to help you with that damage, and Kazan kind of a glass cannon, not having a lot of stagger to his name, but you have Firebird on this Atlas with the extra special. Not really, Nitro shouldn't have to fear taking damage. It's getting too caught off guard, too close to the edge, and allowing Baron or even AJ finding the cheeky right near the edge KOs.
Oh, really good flip coming out here, getting the barrier, and now Nitro can start chasing for the goal. It's not going to be too easy, though. The expanse is good from Firebird. The rebounds coming in. AG almost taken out, but a good evade right on time. Still being bounced around, though. Not in a great spot for CU, but that's a really quick kill with the barrier beam for Robert Barron. Been very, very good at finding overextensions near the edge, near the portals. And now a simple passing play. Oh, the KO onto the goalie as well, holding back a little too much. And just in case, Weston finds the flip, but Saber still has it. This power play is being stalled out quite well by Texas Tech, but oh, Saber, no! You can't wander out of the net at that hour. Not like this. The passing play is clean from CU, but that was a bit anticlimactic.
Yeah, I think Saber just kind of a little too confident that they were going to go for a little portal play there, but CU Boulder just knowing they can just go with a very normal pass and just play this map very normally to get it through, especially when you have that Atlas nowhere near coming back from the respawn timer.
Yeah, this corner defense has been pretty solid from Texas Tech, though. They keep both barriers alive, the passing play forward. But again, these clears from Firebird scare me. They're not like the precise goalie clears that you expect. And I think they're giving a lot of opportunities to CU Boulder compared to Weston, right? Surgical in the corner, as expected from the star player of the team. But now the firewall sentry, Robert Barron comboing, and the CU Boulder offense continues.
Yeah, and kind of just building off what you were saying, Firebird, yeah, just not quite as precise with these clears, being able to find their teammates. But what they are doing really good defensively is when Saber, even Nitro, is coming back to help to defend, they are layering their strikes very nicely to get those out. But in contrast, Weston's just precision and confidence allows his forwards to just stay up, keep that pressure going, and not really back down, even in a 1v2 scenario.
Force speed's getting a little crazy. A good clear from Firebird to get out of danger, and Weston is shot to the middle, deflected by Saber for now. The big finish, a possibility. A KO found onto the IME. Robert Barron with the patience, but the expanse with Monumentalist is coming in big for Texas Tech. Oh, Firebird kind of auto-pilots towards the portal there, and a bit of miscommunication between the brawler and the goalie will mean a quick goal for CU and a way out of the power play.
Yeah, unfortunate kind of miscommunication there. Nitro just needing to trust their goalie. Asher's nowhere near to be a threat in that scenario of just kind of staying open, and you kind of hate to see it in like that, with especially like how well I think Texas Tech has been playing so far. It's just getting through this one-man wall of Weston is just proving to be a little bit more than they can handle.
And Robert Barron as well, right? Really just dominating the offense here, just waiting for the early strikes coming out. And that's a kind of common theme, I think, from Texas Tech. They're kind of auto-piloting the strikes and the clears and the directions, while Robert Barron is being very, very measured with every decision made. CU in general looking confident. Saber here with the patience. Stalls out a lot of time, though, for the respawn. That's a great individual play here, but the question is, will it be enough when so many cooldowns are being dumped towards the barrier? It is enough to keep it alive for now, but the chip damage does mean that the power play continues.
Yeah, and like you said, just that beautiful patience on that finial, especially with Timeless just being able to hold it almost that entire respawn time. But Robert Barron, like you said, just so intentional with everything they're doing. Their positioning, their striking, and just seeing Saber a little low and a little close to the edge and just being able to find that KO.
Yeah, it's showing why CU is the favorite here. Another 3-0 set. Weston to Robert Barron in a 1-2 play. And that's going to be another draft where they're in the advantage. Weston this time a chance to pick up something like the hot shot or the rapid fire for that incredible defense here. A lot of other options available as well. Among Titans could be an interesting pick. Stagger Swagger, of course, so important on the forwards here. I wonder what Weston's going to go for. Goes for the rapid fire. Simple. The primaries are doing work in the midfield, and that they'll continue to do that work. And size on the Asher is going to make Robert Barron even more of a threat in these strike interactions where, let's be clear, like Robert's already winning all of them, but it's going to be even more accessible for this Asher.
Yeah, and Kazan picking up that Stagger Swagger makes sense. Does kind of get hit quite a bit, especially on that low stagger character. I don't think the healing property is going to come in too much because a lot of the KOs that Boulder's been able to find is really just like that. Nitro just getting caught a little too close to the edge, especially when you have an Atlas backing you up to with all those heals. But if they do start targeting Nitro, it's going to be that speed boost as soon as he gets below that 50% stagger that they might be able to make something happen out of this.
Yeah, but look at Weston here in the corner. A good strike away from the big finish. And really just great passing plays. Robert Barron finding another KO. Weston there to back it up if necessary. And the backboard dribble as well with the Crystal Thorns. Bit of overcommitment there from Robert Barron, though, with the dash. AG and Robert Barron stacking up, taking a ton of damage, and Nitro finding a great KO, but a good clear out from AG to make sure the barrier still stays standing. And Weston, with the patient strikes, the big finish sends it backwards, and now Robert Barron's back on the field, playing a little bit of midfield as Colorado advance up the field once again. But a good flip out does mean the offense is halted to pass through the portals. But I think CU's also very familiar with the portal game. That's the berry being taken. Robert Barron almost wins the strike war again, but it's a great passing play between Nitro and Saber to find a really clean goal around Weston there.
Yeah, and I don't know what has changed. The only thing I can see right now is the 1-2 punch on the Finny, but it feels like Texas Tech is just being able to deal so much more damage this set here and just kind of keep CU Boulder on their toes just with the amount of stagger that they're losing.
I think a lot of it is that Nitro with the Stagger Swagger can just run into things a lot more, right? Getting the benefit from the lower stagger and also the additional survivability bump is really huge, and comfortably being able to just damage the opponents with incredibly high uptime. But I think a lot of it's also that CU's also getting hit a lot, but if Robert Barron's allowed to be solo in the corner like that, that's not a good sign for Texas Tech, because normally, like, the Atlas should have a pretty good time dealing against the Asher, but Robert Barron is just winning the matchup so hard, and that is huge for CU when they don't even need to allocate the midfielder to the offense.
Yeah, and we've already said Robert Barron just so methodical, just so patient with these strikes, able to wait out Atlas abilities. But as soon as they get the size and all these stacks on stacks coming up, you get that speed on the Asher, they can just kind of get into that pocket in 1v2 this Finny Atlas if Atlas isn't finding those clears and saving those cooldowns for when they're necessary.
Yeah, and again, it's coming down to the autopilot here, but here's some good punish coming out of Nitro. Very, very good topspin to take away the carry on the offense for CU Boulder. Now Nitro looking to thread the needle here. The big finish available. Bottom side needs to be covered, but AG covers the top perfectly. And Robert Barron's now back. Texas Tech need to find something there. The portal again. A little too much portal play coming out from Texas Tech. the portal's supposed to be the mix-up, not the main option, and it's making it a bit predictable for CU's defense.
Yeah, Nitro really trying to find another KO on AJ here, who's very low on stagger, but kind of knows to be safe, stay in the middle until those orbs come up. And now that they've kind of lost their advantage of a midfield on their back foot, but Saber with the beautiful gravity well pop gets the point on the board.
Yeah, and those are the situations that Texas Tech needs to get back into this game. It's not going to be easy to find those. A lot of resources had to be burned there as well. And the glitch pop actually a little too much help on defense perhaps. It's a big finish, doing a lot of work as well. The core goes around the world now. Oh, Firebird a little bit more auto power on the strikes means the barrier falls, and that's a big opportunity for Robert Barron. A blink backwards. Oh, Weston trying to make the blink prediction to the top side, but Nitro says it's only a straight shot forward and finds a set win for Texas Tech.
Yeah, and I think, that Stagger Swagger pickup, just allowing Kazan to get in there and stay in there so much more, gives them this first draft pick, well-deserved. Looks like they're going for the perfect form. Anything else you think that Texas Tech might have to worry about going to CU Boulder this draft?
I think the hotshot is a huge pickup for Weston here. That is game-changing. The core speed is ridiculous, and I think the missile prop on the Atlas is great as well, but the hotshot on Weston gives that goalie, the star player, so much more agency over the map, especially because Texas Tech has been surprised by that core speed in the past in this game.
Yeah, and I think a pretty standard denied twin drive, getting twin drive denied from Atlas, but still pretty good on AJ here, being able to blink in more times and transition to offense a lot quicker. But TTU Firebird just not having that twin drive, I think they're gonna start feeling, because of kind of like what you thought about. It doesn't feel like they're waiting till they absolutely have to use their abilities. So the more cooldowns they can get, I think the better it's gonna feel for them. And just denying that just kind of denies that defensive pressure. But Texas Tech finding a nice double barrier.
Yeah, but they still got to be careful here because CU still have control of the offense. The hot shot forward. Robert Barron in position. Doesn't get the strike war on the primary, and Weston's going to have to find a defense here. The top spin makes it dangerous, and Weston can't catch up with the core. A great shot coming out from Texas Tech. And I really got to highlight, it is just Nitro. Like, the Texas Tech offense, Nitro is excelling with these strike placements, with the damage. I think on the defense, Texas Tech has found a lot of struggle, especially against Robert Barron. But as soon as Nitro can find a big opportunity, that is huge, especially there. A big flip out from Saber combines with the combo from Nitro. A good glitch pop back from AG. But these power plays are so important.
Yes, but Nitro fighting the second KO, still holding flip. Weston holding it down in the midfield as Barron comes up, though.
Yeah, a good flip out, but a flip steal from Nitro, who is going a little crazy right now. Big opportunities here for Texas Tech if they could find this other barrier as Robert Barron chases the core down. Not quite enough speed on the Asher, though. The stacks on stacks had been reset, and AG is low as well. The evade's going to have to really be on point from CU to prevent the siphoning wand from getting value here in the glitch pop forward. So much damage once again onto AG, taken out by the maddening descent. And now Weston, once again, faced with a very difficult defense.
Yeah, and all this courage and confidence that we've seen in Weston this entire match, just being able to defend, we are now seeing with Nitro Gaming being able to commit to just getting into those dog piles effectively and not really worrying about the KOs. But unfortunately, like you said, the defense of Texas Tech is kind of faltering under the size and speed of Robert Barron.
Yeah, I think we're going to need to see more precise clears, more methodical ability usage from Firebird, because this Atlas needs to be holding on versus the Asher a lot more reliably to buy enough time for Nitro to make the plays, because right now Robert Barron has so much time and could flip out, but that's a lot of resources burned from the Atlas here. Robert Barron going for the KO now, a ton of damage onto Saber. If focused, the damage can be huge from Colorado as well here. CU in a tough spot. Nitro continue to push forward, and the Cyber Swipe does miss. Robert Baron with another opportunity, and there the primary goes. A panic strike. It works out there, but it was almost an own goal to pass splitter to block away so much space. The passing play once again. Robert Baron in position, takes out the goalie, and now Weston can slowly play forward with the flip. Sends it right to Saber, though. Passing play to the top side, and Robert Baron is not even needed that time. Well placed by AG.
Yeah, just with their goalie down, Saber and Nitro just kind of both committing to the bottom, just leaving the passing plays in that top corner just perfectly clear. And I think what we need to see is like, yeah, the defensive kind of like methodicalness out of Firebird, but also feel like with some of these gravity wells, especially with Saber, when they're catching the core, it seems like they're just popping maybe a little too prematurely, or not expecting Weston or AJ to redirect it, and not able to hold it down, and loses both barriers.
Yeah, it is a power play. Nitro could get something done here, but it's going to be so difficult, especially with the passing plays coming out. The portal once again auto-powered a little bit. The core speed picking up as well. The pass splitter goes wide, but another KO found near the edge. Robert Baron getting these a little bit too easily, it feels like. And now Weston sets up on the top side. Piercing shot available. Firewall sentry to block off so much space. The offense continues. Good strike boards coming out from Texas Tech, but AG's in position once again. Cyberswipe a little bit premature, but a shot to the top side. The angle of the primary goes wide, and it will be the first game for CU Boulder.
Yeah, and kind of what we were predicting, just kind of Texas Tech struggling to get through that wall that is Weston in that goal box. But once Nitro was able to like get that confidence to go in, be the brawler, get those KOs, Texas Tech was finding a lot of momentum, but just not able to confirm anything against CU Boulder, even with these striker advantages. And Weston and Robert, or Weston and AJ, able to hold it down while their teammate comes up, and yeah, just kind of push it straight through the Texas Tech University defense.
Yeah, and once again, it really comes down to the defense, right? The defense was just not there from Texas Tech. They picked the Atlas, one of the most defensive, if not the most defensive goalie in the game, but we needed more reliability. We needed a rock so that the offense could get going, and we saw Nitro have some amazing plays, outplaying Weston in some of these opportunities with the Kazan, but there were just not enough chances for Texas Tech.
No, and yeah, I would love to see the defense hold a little bit better, so that we could see some more coordinated offense from Texas Tech, rather than Nitro kind of like trying to find these outplays, finding these KOs, and Saber having some like shining moments, using the timeless on that gravity well to stall until Nitro's respawn timer comes up, was like beautifully like aware of the entire situation. But I kind of wonder if they had maybe a different midfield, someone with more mobility that would be able to like help Firebird in defense find those clears, and then haste, blink, dash forward to transition to those offensive plays more seamlessly, if there maybe would have been a closer outcome.
Yeah, but we're going to head on to our next map pick here. It is Night Market, and it is a Super Surge Catalyst start. We're going to see a lot of Catalysts here, and if we don't, that will be a big downside for the team without it. This energy gain is going to be quite ridiculous, going to be a win condition here. I do like the character select strategy against Weston coming out of TTU, though. The ban Mako pick Atlas is a very, very solid combination of picks to deal with CU a little bit. That part of the draft I really like, but I got to agree with you on the other part of the draft. I think they need a midfielder that can support Firebird, because they're not getting it done alone.
Yeah, and going into Night Market, I still don't think Finney would be the call, but someone that doesn't have that mobility, it can be made up for if they can like efficiently utilize that speed gate in the center for a lot of those transitions. But I do agree. I think they need a more mobile midfield, and I don't know, maybe Finney was helping with that damage.
Do you see the ban? CU, they banned away Atlas. That goes crazy, and I kind of like it too, because
that is such a power move right there.
Yeah, it really is. They know what TTU is up to. They're like, well, you can't have the Atlas either. And this is going to make the defensive woes of Texas Tech even more difficult to deal with, because that super defensive goalie's off the table. Mako's also off the table. I think CU have countered the strategy perfectly.
Yeah, it's like if they're gonna try to like if they're targeting your goalie, target their goalie, make them like self-target effectively. And yeah, we kind of saw those defensive struggles, and now without the melee goalies they're comfortable with, um, Firebird locking in that Asher, which still a good solid uh melee goalie pick, but they would have preferred that Atlas.
Yeah, I do think Firebird is very comfortable on the Asher, but the issue is whether it can be piloted to a level that can deal with CU, right? CU are coming into this as the favorites for a reason, and they have shown no signs of not being able to deal with the defense of Texas Tech here. This is probably the best case scenario in that you are playing Asher goalie against Zentaro, so the primary will be very, very good. But
Hmm.
it's going to require patience. It's going to require good ability usage, and that is something that we saw the opposite of in game one, right? We saw a lot of impatience on the Atlas primary, on the Atlas expanse, and that is something that CU is definitely going to take advantage of.
Yeah, and do you see what I see? I see bite breakers coming out on the side of CU.
Wow. Last time I saw the favorite pick this one, they lost. Flashbacks to Sheb most recently, where there was a certain team that ego picked this. But I do think with the comfort on the IME, it looks like from CU, this is going to be pretty good. On the other hand, I do like the Juno coming out of Saber. They needed more core control to come out to help out Firebird in the defensive end, and I think that this might just do it.
Yep, and I am kind of curious. Doesn't her? We see a 50-50, 3 catalyst, 3 super surge here. I was wondering if the Zentaro would kind of prioritize that super surge, guarantee that dash and damage, but I'm kind of surprised AJ takes it. I mean, they might be trying to go for damage KO comp here if that's the case.
Yeah, I think the correct move would be for both Robert Barron and AG to go that catalyst. I do see what they're going for, but I think it is slightly incorrect here. But they're still finding success anyway. The additional mobility is going to give them a lot more freedom in the scoring plays as well. And a lot of it's up to just overwhelming the goalie there, and Firebird striking a little bit too early. Good catch by Robert Barron for the first goal.
Yeah, and beautiful job on CU Boulder finding those 2 like fairly quick barriers for that first point. But we kind of saw the same thing in our Gates game just a couple moments ago, and Texas Tech has shown that if they can find their rhythm, they can make plays happen. It's going to be what is it going to take for them to be able to get that rhythm, for Nitro to be able to do that damage, for Firebird and Saber to find this defensive synergy, and it's right now not happening.
Yeah, especially because right now they're being out-damaged, and a lot of their previous game kind of hinged on getting a lot of that burst damage coming out from Nitro. And we're seeing a lot of the effects here, right? Nitro is missing abilities because of that lack of speed. No Maxwells, not even the Slick Kicks taking the Siphoning Wand. This X is as immobile as it gets, and I feel like that's also a big mistake for Texas Tech here. They're not really finding any core control. I think Robert Barron in particular in the Zentaro is getting to run free across the entire map thanks to that.
Yeah, they're really relying on Saber to kind of be the core control of this entire team. So Nitro can like slowly like basically walk around this map compared to all these other characters to try to like do that chip damage. And what we're seeing is CU Boulder just being able to leave Nitro in the dust and just get effectively a 2v1 against Firebird in their own goal box.
Yeah, and Robert Barron, very deserved first pick here. So many possible Centauro awakenings. Heavy impact, going to be a very juicy pickup. And they could even opt for the Stagger Swagger here on the IME. That would be an amazing duo of awakenings to deny away. But they don't even need to go to Stagger Swagger because the Juno is the middle pick. The X being last pick makes it so difficult for Texas Tech to navigate this draft here. The Stagger Swagger is a nice pickup, yes, but this X is getting spec training. That is not more mobility. That is not more size. This X is just going to be played around the same as previously.
Yeah, I don't think X is going to be able to do much. If they get extra special next draft, maybe, but if that's the case, I can't imagine CU Boulder letting it fall down, because I don't believe Nitro is going to be getting first pick if it comes to that.
Yeah, and once again, the double max solves the mobility difference, but wait a second, Dash Punch comes through. The spec training finds value, but again, the core speed this time. Two different forms of speed on the side of CU Boulder, and they're constantly finding ways to hit it around, but wait a second, they get a little lost in the sauce. Nitro finds a strike. That's both barriers going down. But it's still going to take a big flip here, and it goes right to Weston, who will deflect it away. Now Robert Barron low, but not off the table just yet. Has the speed, has the dribbles, has the patience. A good jump forward from Saber, but Weston sends it away. Firebird now trying to defend. The barrier beams used very well, but Robert Barron still staying alive. Finding the pass up to AG. That was amazing from CU Boulder. No hesitation from Robert Barron to send it to the midfielder and the wide open top side of the net.
Yeah, and Nitro trying to prove us wrong, finding 2 KOs that set and to be able to get both barriers down, and a very nice strike war win to get that second barrier. But like we've kind of been saying, CU Boulder just seems to have more synergy, more teamwork, more aware of what everyone else on their team is thinking, and be able to like set those up so confidently.
Yeah, and we're seeing it here. Robert Barron and AG, they're playing off of each other so well, and the damage is now piling up. It's a Fini after all, and Weston takes out the goalie. Firebird taken out with full meter, I believe. A return kill onto Robert Barron, but Weston has flipped. Going to be going for the goal here to the top side. A good flip out from Saber, but Weston defending in the midfield now. Big opportunity for Nitro in this minuscule power play to maybe get something done. That's one barrier at the very least, but Robert Barron sends it forwards and keeps up the offense here for CU. Nitro going to be the next one chipped down if not careful here, and Weston's got to keep pouring on the damage.
Yeah, Nitro trying to get that flip, AJ Weston just creating a wall of strikes that Nitro's just not gonna be able to get through, and Nitro having to like fall back, get that barrier, but a lot of damage coming out from the side of both teams. But Robert Barron kind of on their last leg, but everyone on the side of Texas Tech trying to defend against AJ just allows Robert Barron to heal up, and a beautiful Finny card catches Firebird out of their strike cooldown and sends it straight past them. Good call on Weston.
Good call on Weston, but we cannot be missing those defenses if you're Firebird, unfortunately. Like, it was right to her, right? And
yeah,
using the strike shot there, forwards, like that is the type of situation where you need to convert if you're Texas Tech. Nitro, though, really good X Maximus and really good flip. And Nitro's have been really practiced on the offense here. I really like what this X is doing with the spec training. Of course, I doubted the pickup because of the mobility, but if they can get on top of someone, Nitro is deleting people.
Yeah, and I think the outcome of this game is going to be determined next draft. If Texas Tech can make something happen here and get Nitro first pick, or Nitro can pick up something, hopefully more mobility, then I think Texas Tech can be a real threat here with just how much damage and methodical Nitro is. Firebird getting caught with a double night market angle, but able to save that barrier.
But having to use flip there is so rough. Texas Tech's resources are very low here with the exception of Nitro. Good primary by Firebird out of the corner, but the firewall sentry punishes the strike straight forward. Nitro with another KO, though, looking quite massive as Weston and AG are left here. But these bounces are going a little bit crazy. That was really good from AG. Almost caught the bounce afterwards. And Weston continuing to defend, a flip out. Firebird sends it away. And the slime speed is picking up. Saber having that kind of value to maybe turn this point and set around. But now Robert Barron is back. A big opportunity for the Centauro to find an offensive push. And they're just hitting around Nitro right now. Robert Barron, all they need is one more pass.
Yeah, and both forwards in the corner. And Nitro seeing the vulnerability of Imi right on the edge, dashes in. And Robert Barron not looking too healthy here. But Nitro also getting staggered, and it's basically a 2v2 at this point. And Weston just walking up to the midfield with a flip, sinks it in.
And again, Nitro is finding a lot of opportunities, but because of the lack of mobility and the lack of defense from Texas Tech, there's just not enough time for Nitro to take over the game. On the other hand, Weston sitting pretty as the first pick and has so many options here. Probably going to be the rapid fire to partially deny the Juno. But the Among Titans is pretty big here. Additional size with the Might of the Colossus for Robert Barron. That's more damage. Not that much damage, but more damage. And more size, more reach. Maybe this X can get something done here.
I, they can. They have so much more damage now. I think with how consistently Nitro is actually finding these damage, I want to say Adrenaline Rush was the play there, because you find those KOs, you get the speed. Now you can actually like outmaneuver CU Boulder, and you get your cooldowns back, and you've already been so efficient already.
Yeah, no, I actually gotta agree with you. I wasn't thinking about it too much, but Adrenaline Rush would be amazing for Nitro here. The KO Magician needs that speed to convert here, and without it, the size alone, by the Colossus is not that great of an awakening. Let's be clear here, and maybe Nitro could find something with these Strike Wars, but so far, it's looking like it's a little bit too slow, too steady. That's a quick point, but with that flip gone for next point, I'm wondering if they can do it again.
I mean, Nitro does have Catalyst, and a lot of strikes can be coming out, so they can build it up fairly quick, but can it be quick enough before CU Boulder starts like getting the play, getting the passing, getting the possession that they want going?
Yeah, maybe they can. A lot of damage on the Saber, though. Big opportunity for CU. And they find a barrier as well. Firebird doesn't find a strike there, which means that these barriers are down way too quickly. AG with a flip built up almost as well. The passing play up to Robert Barron. Good defense by Firebird for the moment, but a flip found. AG to the bottom side. It is just too simple on the offense for CU. They're 2 goals away from taking the series.
Yeah, and Firebird just kind of getting caught in a panic. They see Saber going down. They dash up thinking Imi's going to strike, but Imi just waits, and yeah, Firebird kind of wasting that flip there, and yeah, kind of like you said, it's a little too easy for CU Boulder to find these offensive plays, because the defense just is not there for Texas Tech.
Yeah, Robert Barron has been the star, but I think Nitro has been the star on the other end, making sure to neutralize Robert Barron in a lot of these opportunities. As once again, Nitro finds the KO on the Brawler counterpart, and Saber jumps in as well. Big point for Texas Tech. A good read by Weston to save it with the triple take. But again, Nitro's going in, fighting a lot of damage, and the score almost as well. But AG cyber swipe forward. Robert Barron in position, looking for the strike war win. Not quite here, as Weston has to defend away, and Saber has a flip available, but it's defended by AG's strike. The strike back and forth, the ping pong and coming through, and Nitro not getting to reach the core again. And it is so difficult here as Weston pulls it back with the Fini card. Robert Barron now, a simple shot to the bottom side. No one there to cover it. 1 goal away.
Yeah, and that's just kind of what we're seeing, this tale of, like, I don't want to say tale of 2 goalies, but just the difference in the goalie and the defensive here, where Weston, like, not panicking, knows precisely when they use their abilities. Like you said, catching the backswing of that Finny card to return the core to them, to deny possession of that core. And even in a 2v1 scenario, Nitro and Saber just kind of struggling against Weston, but finding this barrier, and can they make something happen and kind of get a set on the board for Texas Tech here?
That's the question, but Robert Barron has flip, and Nitro trying to win the strike wars, but Weston doing the goalie technology of walking past the brawler so you don't even have to strike war. But wait a second, dangerous spot, great strike shot by Weston to get it out of the corner, and now a lot of resources burned by CU. Big opportunity for Texas Tech perhaps, but it's going to be a little bit difficult to get past AG. Oh, Weston caught in the corner. Nitro once again saving the day for Texas Tech, but it's so difficult here as AG is continuing to find the strikes. The impatience coming out from Nitro a little bit. Really good on the KOs, but the scoring needs to be there.
Yeah, and you said it, just the patience just is not there. Nitro getting caught off guard with these not waiting out the glitch pop, not waiting out the strike shot on Weston, but beautifully right there. That's the patience you need to see. Flip, wait for the 2 forwards to waste your strikes, and send it to that bottom corner where Finny cannot catch it.
Yeah, and now with the flip available, this is really good for Texas Tech. This is the set where they can turn things around if Saber can use that flip well, if Nitro could find another KO just like they did before. Oh, but these barriers are falling a little bit too easily. Robert Barron being handed them on a silver platter. And now it is CU who are the threats. A good strike shot by Firebird away, but AG, perfect cyber swipe on the top side, and CU will take this series and advance to 3-2.
Yeah, and we kind of called it CU Boulder kind of taking this series, but I think Texas Tech put up a good fight, and especially offensively, like you said, Weston may have been the star player on CU Boulder, but Nitro really being the star of Texas Tech this series, just finding those damages, finding those KOs, like you said, that KO magician. Nitro Gaming N64 really allowing Texas Tech to make a lot of the plays that they were able to.
Yeah, and Firebird and Nitro have been around in CCL for a while, so it's really nice to see Nitro getting it done, even against the newer players that are coming in for CU Boulder, right? And of course, Weston, who is only getting better, rising up the ranks in competitive Omega Strikers. So shout out to Nitro. I do think, though, that this is the season of CCL where a lot of the old guard is gone, and there's a bit of a reality check, right? A lot of these new players are hungry. You know, UTD, Asianator, that guy is hungry. The midfielder as well on that team. Strages, of course. We got to mention the complete rookie who is looking incredibly competitive in the midfield role. And I think if you're some of the more legacy members of TTU, you got to start grinding. You got to find some coaching and get those habits locked in, because CU, they are on the up and up.
Yeah, and like you said, I believe this is this roster of CU's last season for CCL. They're all graduating after this, and if you want to see like the CU Boulder Strikers continue kind of this legacy, this Weston Wall, these beautiful team plays and offensive maneuvers and passing plays that we've been seeing. Yes, the new guard has to like grind, but you need to like cultivate that, get in there, like show them the tricks of the trade.
Yeah, we'll see if Texas Tech can turn around their season. They're not out yet. They can still make playoffs, but the next 2 weeks are crucial. You need to win the next 2 weeks to make the playoffs. It's a 4-3 cutoff. And right here, CU taking a big step towards that, right? 3-2 is a lot more comfortable than 2-3 here, but it's not out of the picture for Texas Tech. They just got to lock in, find some good habits, especially on the defense. And we saw a lot of bright spots here, especially from the Juno plays a little bit, from Nitro mostly. But if they can get their defense together, I think they can get it done. We'll see, though. We'll see. And next up is UTulsa versus TAMU White, I believe. Yep. And that should be a good one. It's a full day of Texas teams. And I think UTulsa will be very, very wanting to not break the streak, right? It is the non-Texas teams versus the Texas teams. It's a bit of a turf war here. And we'll see who comes out on top on the day. We'll be right back. Don't go anywhere.